Good morning. It is Friday, January 24th, 2020. My name is Bev. This is the Bev D Show. I'm pretty excited about this day. This is what I used to call my mom. This is like Christmas Eve because my birthday is the 25th and Christmas is the 25th. And there were many years that I remember that I got it confused, and I thought that December 24th and December 25th were mine, and my mom would say, no, this is Christmas, and she'd say, your birthday is next month. And I went through probably 2 years of that. I think it was like 4 and 5, maybe 5 and 6, because it's really there in my memory. And so yeah, here we are. And I'm very grateful. I did a little segment yesterday on being grateful. Don't know. I've got so many thoughts in my head, but just to say again, my name is Bev. This is the Bev D Show. And pretty excited about it. Getting a lot of more traction. We are on Spotify and Apple Podcast and other podcast mediums, and I'm just so damn excited I could burst because it is something that it's a momentum. And I've been doing this since I think my first show was in October 2018. And amazingly, that all happened a couple of months, almost 2 months after I met Tim, who also has a radio show, and I said it was always a dream, and suddenly he walked through the door one day with a microphone, and one Saturday morning we got me all set up, and I'm a person that thinks of ideas. Sometimes my execution and follow through is poor. It's probably something I need to focus on a little bit more. I have several books I've written, and they're unpublished, so pretty much got to get my ass in gear, I guess. But he is somebody who's very supportive, always helping me. He even shared with me, how we can be picked up on these other podcast mediums, and I'm just thrilled. So I want to thank all my new listeners. This is something I dreamed about, and if I sat here and pretended radio and no one listened, that would be good, because it's just so cool. So I have this really cool microphone and a little studio set up, and I'm really proud of it and can't believe that I'm sitting here talking to you, the universe. So it's pretty cool. The title of my show today is about how life can change. And everybody says it, and you've heard it over and over and over again throughout your lives, that this is nothing new coming from me. But when I left my little grateful show yesterday, and I was thanking all of you, and that I got in my car, and it said I'd be there in 30 minutes to work. And suddenly, I always put in my GPS, because of the route I take, I put in my GPS my way to work. It's not that I don't know how to get there, but it's really cool because it shows me where traffic's going to be slow and if there's an accident. So the route that I take is 77 north and south, and there's just, I mean, God, please cast a blessing over this route, because there is always a wreck. And I think I sit there, and yesterday we didn't move for like 15 minutes, and I sit there and I think things like, if I hadn't have done the show, would it have put me in that accident? Because it was right at the exit where I get off to go to work. And I started thinking, and I cannot help it, I do this to a fault. I can come off of an elated high, and I start thinking about those people, whoever they were. I didn't see the accident. It was cleared up by the time I went by, but how their day was changed. How they kissed family goodbye, probably took kids to work, rushing to get to Cleveland. And, it's all different. something changed. And an accident, they say that we're texting and driving. There's actually on the marquees now, this is a high, what do they call it? A high distraction zone. This is this new thing, distracted driving, and it's terrible. And we really have to focus and stare straight out that windshield, check out all those three mirrors at all times, because you just never know. And so I was sitting there and I was praying for those people. And I was grateful, of course, selfishly, that it wasn't me. And then I drifted off into the biggest, what I would consider, we have catastrophes and tragedy every day, but when we think of 9/11 and all those moms and dads by the thousands that had something planned for the day, what they were going to do, big projects they were stressed out about that they may or may not be close to finishing. It was a Tuesday. It was a beautiful, crystal clear day. I just think about even people that were on their way to work that day, and the ones that got in accidents that didn't make it to work, the ones that got a ticket that didn't make it to work. And, you just never know those seconds in front of you. And believe me, this show is not to bring you down. It's just about this constant mode of perspective that I put myself in. If you're a new listener, in recent years, I've lost two brothers and a sister-in-law, and it was, we're coming up on a handful of years now, but not one of them. My sister-in-law, she was sick. She was diagnosed, and a few months later, she had passed away. My brother, he also got sick, and he passed away in the hospital. And then my other brother just didn't wake up. And you just never know. And it's the unknown, and it can be as precious and exciting. For example, I'm very excited about today. I got some things going on at work. I got some things that I want to do on a personal level and make sure that's all squared away for tomorrow. So I'm really energized. I'm really excited about the day. But there's always that check. There's always that pause of, praying for those kids. We have Akron Children's Hospital in this area, and I just think, that's not housed with people having a good time. That's housed with talented nurses and doctors, and we got folks flying in from all over to use the services of Akron Children's Hospital, and I can quickly go into perspective and think about those little ones that do not know any better. There's only one thing they know, and that's to fight. Whether it's to get better from, maybe they were in an accident and, they need to heal, or cancer, maybe they're being treated for cancer and they don't know all of the tragedy in the world. They don't know politics. They don't know religion. They don't know what really this world has to offer in a bad or a good way. They only know their world is a sense of survival. And we're all taken by these fires in Australia. And I had a heavy heart for a few days. There was just nothing we could do, nothing that could make it better. And we were losing life on this planet. And sitting here in our homes and stuff, they wanted us to donate money, but how good does that really feel in your heart? A little bit like you've contributed, and it's an amazing thing if you did. But, those on the ground and the smell and the sadness of those sweet, innocent animals, that's part of our universe. And it's tragic. There's just a few highlighted words that describe something like that. So, however that started, with those, they say there's guys guilty of starting it. What was wrong with their life? What was in their brain? What was the perspective that they had to, light that first, ignition? What was that? And what was the intent? Did they really want the entire, all of it to burn, or were they just idiots and didn't know any better, didn't have anything better to do that day? So that's perspective. Those are the things that can overwhelm me to, like I said, to a fault. I can get so consumed by that, gosh, I should be able to do something. There's something that we should be able to do, something more. And it's just the perspective that I keep in check, even when things are going so beautifully and amazing for me. And I have been so blessed with family and friends, several of you that listen and are enjoying, basically this is a show about talking about different things. We'll get to a point where we're opening up the phone lines and such, but talking about things, this is my heart. And I've always been that way. I've been getting hurt feelings ever since I was a little girl because I put my heart right there on my sleeve. It's part of my, accessories for the day. I put on my clothing, I cover me up, I dress, I check myself out on the mirror, and I got my heart right there in the center of my core, and then I also have my heart right there exposed on not just one sleeve, both. So, and I don't mind it. I used to say, don't do it, Bev, don't do it. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to open up. I'm going to close up. I am going to hoard my feelings and keep them close and safe to my vest. And then, I reached a point one day where I said, what the hell? That isn't you. That's not who you are. So I take chances. I try to do things, in the workplace as well as in my personal life. And I get hurt. I get hurt feelings a lot. But I wrote a poem once, and I wrote, "A broken heart is a living heart." And it is something that, well, hang on a second. I'll get it for you. I have a book. It's called Conversations in Writing, and I just decided one day to put it all together in a little anthology or just a collection of my poetry. But let's see if I can find it. There it is, page 27. All right, it says this: a broken heart is a living heart. Hearts are broken every day. That's why dreams will never stray. For without the dreams, this life, it seems, would not be worth living and love worth giving. For the heart that is broken is the one that has spoken, the one that has opened for receiving forgiving. How reverent the blood that rushes and ceases with emotion, risking the wounds to receive the good in ways that we never thought could. That chance at human spirit we take, as gifts we find, as dawn's early break, embracing a new day, as rest leaves us and nightfall ends, granting us another passing day. I wrote that in March 1997. And just thought I'd share that with you. I wrote that. I always say name and date for history's sake, so I want to know the time period. And little did I know that my mother would pass away the next month. So you just never know. Write your thoughts down. A little bit of advice. Sometimes that writing, that validates our feelings. It's almost like a product on a page where, like a pair of shoes or jeans or a nice shirt. It's a tangible item you can touch. And when you write your thoughts down, whatever they are, it might be a couple sentences, it's therapeutic. So I always encourage people. I used to have classes for kids, to write and, to get their thoughts or imagination or dreams on paper. And so I encourage you to do that as well. So, hey, if you've taken the priceless seconds that I mentioned before to listen to this, I hope that you learned a little bit more about me, and as well as taking that to the next level and just, whether you're a praying person to our Almighty God or to your universe or whomever you believe in, do that thing. Because when you say your concerns and your prayers and your positive or negative thoughts out loud, it releases them from your body, and they're no longer just coveted and yours. So it splits problems in half. You start sharing this, and I promise you, your life